Okay. Oh, we've got about 1 minute until 7:30. For those of you who are already here, thank you for being here early. I will start in just a moment. All right. I'm going to start at 7:30 on the dot here. Hi, everyone. My name is Season Hathaway. I am the Regional Coach Administrator on the board here at our Prunedale AYSO. This is meant to be an orientation both for families who are interested in AYSO and also those of you who are returning. We will be going over the very basics of what AYSO is, what makes it unique, what makes it extra special, a really special experience for your child and getting to know soccer. And also, it will give you a chance to for those who already know about AYSO, we will be going over the dates for this coming fall season, any updates you need to know, and you will also get a chance to answer any questions that you may have. I'm going to go ahead and start a Q&A in the corner here. I want you all to know that I am largely flying solo here. So if I don't get to your question right away, I apologize. I will try my best to do so as quickly as possible. Also, there will be contact information at the end of this so that if you do not get a chance to answer your question, or if I don't answer it for some reason, you can email us and get that question answered as quickly as we possibly can. Also, this is a little bit experimental for me here on YouTube Live. In the future, I would love to do this in person. This is just kind of what we had the bandwidth for this year. This is our first time doing a parent orientation. I think typically we end up holding onto all of this information until opening day, which is about 2 weeks before the first games, and it tends to be very chaotic and a little overwhelming for parents. So we're trying out a orientation this year so that you guys can get the information you need ahead of time. So to begin, for those of you who do not know about AYSO, we're going to start with that. Okay. So also to introduce myself a little bit more, again, my name is Season. I serve on the board here, and everyone on the regional and also area boards of AYSO are volunteers. So I'm a volunteer. Nobody gets paid who is involved directly with the Prunedale AYSO. We are a small region, and we are the only region in Monterey County. So we actually play a lot of teams in our interleague play with San Jose area teams because those are the closest AYSOs in the area. I myself played AYSO as a kid. It is a national nonprofit organization, and it's been around for a long time. You may have heard some famous U.S. soccer players, especially women's soccer players. A lot of them started in AYSO. It is very widespread. It is a recreational soccer league. And so we are very much focused on the development of players and creating also the development of good people. So creating good people who happen to love soccer. I ended up playing soccer my whole life, but that isn't necessarily something that we encourage in all of our players, at least in terms of going on into college or anything like that. We are mostly focused on creating a really positive learning experience for them and a great social experience as well. So a chance for them to play with their friends, get outside, learn the basics and the fundamentals of the game. And if they decide they want to advance into something more competitive, they are welcome to do so. But this is an amazing place for players of all skill levels at all ages that we host to join. And part of that is because within the national organization, there are 5 values that they expect us as a region to follow. The first being everyone plays. That means everyone gets a chance to play in every game. So if you join AYSO, your child will not be sitting on the bench for the majority of the game. We have a requirement that every kid plays at least half the game. And we have other specifications for our coaches to make sure that we don't have a lot of sitting out. The whole point of AYSO is that they get to experience the game and play. We also value balanced teams. So we will talk about this more later, but we have an evaluation process where we try to gauge the skill level of each player and try our best to create teams that are as balanced as possible. I'll probably say this multiple times that it's not a perfect system. That is really difficult to create balanced teams, but we try our best to do that so that there isn't one team that is much better than the others and creates kind of an unbalance, which doesn't tend to create the best environment for kids to develop their skills or really have very much fun when there's one team that is extremely skilled and other teams that are not. Again, not a perfect system that we've created, but this is something that at the national level, they really encourage us to do, and we really try our best to do that. Good sportsmanship, of course, is a key value for us, and that's something that we try our best to encourage our coaches to encourage in the kids. And we also encourage it highly in our parents as well, and our coaches and other volunteers that are leading the way so that we can lead by example for our players as well. We have what's called open registration. So anyone who would like to play can play. We do have registration open until the end of October. Once we hit the end of October, players can still register, but they will not be able to play in the postseason tournaments. So our regular season goes until mid-November. So we really try to keep our registration open for as long as possible. And we try to allow as many players of as many different backgrounds and skill levels to join as we possibly can, because we really want to make this game as accessible as possible to everyone. And lastly, player development is something that we really value. And as you will see in a moment, all of our coaches are volunteers. Many of them are come from you guys, so the parents or caregivers of our players. We train you, and we train all of our coaches. We have a nationally recognized training module and a training system that help our coaches to make sure that they are coaching in the most positive way that they can, and also that we are focusing on individual player development. That is what is most important to us. Not where our focus isn't solely on the winning aspect of the game or each team's record. We are more we try to encourage our coaches to focus more on player development itself. All right, so that may be different than what many of us have grown up with, or maybe what you experienced with other soccer leagues, especially club or competitive soccer leagues. They're at a different level, and so they are doing things in a different way. And so I think as a board, we like to make sure that all of our parents and players understand that here at AYSO, we really encourage and follow these values, and we do our best to really, really encourage this, not only in our kids, but also in our parents and our coaches. So one other way that you will see that is in the culture that we try to bring to the field. I know there's a lot on this slide, but generally what you may have seen also, if you've already registered, you as the parent, we actually require you to sign a little, basically like a contract, a parent contract. And these things are all kind of included in that. And so being a positive role model, supporting your child, respecting everyone involved in the game, which includes the coaches, the referees, the opposing teams and players, emphasizing fair play, keeping sport in perspective, meaning remembering that sport is supposed to be enjoyable for our kids, not something that we are really pushing them to do uh, to the point that they are feeling lots of stress or pressure. Volunteering, refraining from coaching or refereeing when you are a parent on the sideline, refraining from negative comments, attending team parent meetings, which is highly important, especially for our volunteer coaches and team parents who are trying to organize, being on time, and ensuring your child's safety by encouraging loved ones and other people to come and encourage them at the games. So, with that being said, we do really ask that anyone that attends practices or games at Manzanita Park, even if maybe they didn't register your child and didn't sign that parent contract, we really ask that you help us in being responsible for anyone you bring to the field or ask to pick up your child, to make sure that they are creating the same positive and safe playing environment for our kids. And we actually have some events in place, like as many of you know who have been a part of our league before. We have Silent Saturdays where parents are encouraged only to clap rather than yelling from the sideline. And I think what every coach or every coach and parent that I've seen that has enjoyed Silent Saturday has really noticed how much that helps the kids take over and learn from each other, as opposed to kind of having all of the influence from the sidelines. So we're really encouraging uh, child-led learning here and play. And it's easier to do that when we have our parents kind of following these expectations. And we will ask that you follow these expectations. If there is a board member present on the field, and usually one of us is at the snack shack, and you see something that isn't following these guidelines, you can come and talk to us and let us know, and we will do our best to make sure that anyone not following these guidelines will kindly be asked to leave if they cannot follow them. So just so you know, those are our expectations on the field at Manzanita Park. Another really important part of our AYSO of our league is volunteering. This is actually my son. He plays. He was very small in this picture, but we are always needing volunteers. And we are getting to the point now where we are asking that everyone contribute. This is really a community effort. Like I said, I'm a volunteer. I'm a mom. I have multiple kids. I've got multiple things going on. I own my own business. So I know very well that you are likely very busy. I know what that feels like. I know we can only commit to so much, but there are lots of things that you can do as a volunteer for us. And it could even be limited to 1 or 2 days of the season, maybe a couple hours here and there. We need field liners, and that really only takes maybe 15 to 20 minutes before a game every couple weeks. There are ways for you to fit helping us into your very packed schedule. And we've been really trying to figure out ways to make it easy for you to know how to help. And one of those ways is to go ahead and scan this QR code that we have here. This is also available on our website, ayso256.org, which also has a lot of information. But this form in particular should help you to see kind of what roles we need filled, what that would require. There's job descriptions for our board positions that are open as well. We have several board positions that are open. And those job descriptions are on there with the time commitment, the skills that are needed. And honestly, AYSO as a national organization is great about providing training for all of these things. And so if you have even an inkling of thinking that you want to be a coach or a referee, those are two of our biggest needs every year. And I would say, even if you're like, well, I kind of know something about soccer and maybe I'll coach, I would really highly encourage you to consider it. It's likely that because you're kind of on the fence now, it typically happens that no one really steps forward. We've formed teams, no one steps forward as a coach, and you might be asked to coach anyway. So I think it makes it easy for everyone if you have even a small amount of time to commit. If you know somebody that will coach with you, if you know someone that your kid wants to play with, a great way to get them on the same team, because we can't guarantee that, but a good way to really make that happen is to ask their parents if they want to coach with you. And if you guys co-coach, we can put players together on the same team. So there are lots and lots of benefits to volunteering. One of the biggest ones being that it's extremely rewarding. If anybody is watching right now that has coached, I really encourage you to write in the chat what it's meant to you, because I know after speaking to my coaches, I lead the coaches and I try my best to support them throughout the season. By the end of the season, many of them are like, this was so fun. I want to do it next year. I've had several tell me that last year, so I will be getting in touch with you this year. But it is really rewarding. It's even if you do not know anything about soccer, we train you. So there's a lot of support for you here. Again, we are more focused on creating good people that love soccer as opposed to creating really skilled soccer players. So know that going into it, even as a referee or as a board member, we are not here to create competition level soccer teams. We are here to support our kids, to help them have good learning experiences and really positive experiences and be a good example to them. And I think all of us is capable of that. We also are losing our Snack Shack coordinator. She is moving on to other endeavors. And so we have split that position into 3 different positions. So it is much more manageable. And we are looking for help with that. And that is all on that form. So please, please, please go to that form, see what you're able to do. Even if you're like, I don't have any time, please take a look at the form and it will give you an idea of the things that we actually need. This is so, so important. I'm sticking here for a minute because the volunteering is really the core of AYSO, another thing that makes it super unique. This is truly a Prunedale effort, and many of the people, and Salinas, Prunedale, Salinas, Castroville, all in this area, it's all us, okay? There's nobody from an outside area coming in to help run it. It's all Prunedale locally run, and it's all volunteer run. Parents, caregivers, grandmas and grandpas, sisters, brothers. We have youth volunteers as well. If they're over the age of 16, they can help with refereeing. And I believe at the Snack Shack, if they're over the age of 18. So there's always something for someone to do. And this is really what makes our league special. All right, what a lot of you are probably waiting for, important dates for this season. So our next really big important date is going to be evaluations, which we talked about earlier. Evaluations help us make balanced teams. They are essentially tryouts, at least what we traditionally think of as tryouts, but rather than putting our players on like an A team or a B team, again, we try to put them into, like, spread them out into balanced teams. This year, rather than spreading our evaluations out over several days, we are going to try our best to do the vast majority of our evaluations on Saturday, July 12th. It will be in the mornings. We're going to separate the age divisions, likely from around like 9, 10:30, 11:30, but we have not set those dates exactly because we're getting volunteers gathered. So those dates will be determined and we will send out an email with those. But please, please, please mark on your calendars Saturday, July 12th, if you haven't already. Please make it a priority if you haven't. We do understand this is the summer and a lot of people are on vacation. So we will have makeup days on Tuesday, July 22nd and Wednesday, July 23rd at 5:30 to 6:30. We are also kind of trying to figure out who's going to be doing that. So we'll be sending out emails, but that's the main day, and any makeup days that we'll be having it will be July 22nd and 23rd. Let's see. If you can't make any of those for any reason, your child will be placed on a team, but we will need to kind of figure out a way to evaluate them before we place them on the team. So, in order to give them the best experience you possibly can, I highly recommend you make one of those days your priority. Otherwise, they will be waiting to be placed on a team. We'll have to communicate with you individually in order to figure out a practice day for them to kind of tag on to so they can be evaluated by a coach. And it just makes things a little more complicated. So if you're able, those dates are really important. Please, please put them on your calendar. Opening day will be Saturday, August 23rd. That's just a really fun day for us to kind of welcome in the new season. I highly recommend going. We will also have uniforms likely available on that day. This year, as many of you know, we are doing a new system with our uniforms to where you are essentially ordering them when you register your child. You are putting in their sizes for their uniforms. And we are getting each uniform individually for each child, so they will be the right size. They will get the size that you order. Each child is um, given a number that they will hold on to for their entirety at AYSO. So if they play for multiple seasons, that will be their jersey and they will keep it. So when the season is over, hold on to that jersey, put it somewhere safe. Don't let them lose it or stuff it under their bed where you can't find it. Make sure that you keep it safe somewhere because you can reuse it. So know that next year, your registration costs, if we can, as long as we continue to use those jerseys, your registration costs will go down because you will not be buying another jersey for them. Everyone will be getting the same jersey. They're really awesome. They're reversible. We're really excited about these. They're going to look really professional, really nice. The kids are going to look super slick out on the field. So we're really excited about this. This is a new thing for us. So we're kind of working through and making sure everything goes smoothly. But again, we ask for your patience with that as well. But we're hoping that this is a really positive change and one that makes things easier for us and makes your kids excited to wear their uniforms on the field. Picture day is planned for the first day of games, which is September 6th, and a makeup picture day will be September 13th. Last games will be on, as far as I know, last games will be Saturday, November 8th. Our season typically runs for 10 weeks. Last year, the area decided to go for 11 weeks. So it may be that there's another week added onto that. But just know that that's generally when our season ends, is around mid-November, beginning to mid-November. For postseason tournaments, I think my screen is in the way. So I will just tell you. But postseason tournaments are something that our 10U division, 12U division, and our 14U division take part in. If your child is in playground, 6U or 8U, you don't need to worry about this. But those postseason tournaments are typically, for our 10U division, usually the week before Thanksgiving. And for the 12U and 14U divisions, they are typically the first week of December. I like to let people know about this because we often have lots of things going on that time of year. It is not guaranteed that you will need to go to these postseason tournaments. If your child's team does well in their regular season, we usually have a little round robin tournament at the end of the year amongst the other Prunedale AYSO teams. And then they move on from that. Whoever is ranked top within our league, they move on to play those postseason tournaments. They're so much fun. I highly recommend going if you are able. But I like to let people know so you're not surprised when the end of the year comes around and you're like, wait, there's more, especially around the holidays. So just know that there may be a chance that you will need to go up to the Bay Area for a tournament on one of those weekends. Sometimes they change as well, depending on what the area decides. But we will let you know as soon as we know the dates. We will let your coaches know and they will inform you. Okay, a question we get a lot is, what division is my child in? if you have already, again, my screen is a little bit in the way. So if you have already registered, the system should have placed your child in the correct division. Or it did. It did place your child in the correct division. And I know that that can be confusing, especially when, I have, like, for example, my son is 7, but he is in 10 and under this year. And that is because he was born in 2017, right? So, um, here, this is a chart, and I know I'm in the way here, but you can see that basically, this is also available on the website, so you can always go back and look. But if your child was born in 2011 or 2010, they would be 16U. 2012 or 2013, they will be placed in 14U. If they were born in 2014, 2015, they would be placed in 12U, and you should be able to see the rest. But I know we get a lot of questions around, like, but my kid's only 6. Why is he in 8U and not 6U? It is because once they turn beyond the number that is in their division, or if they are turning that number this year, then they are in the next division. Don't worry, there are other kids that are their age in their division. And like I said, we are so focused on player development and good sportsmanship that it's not a free for all out there on the field with between 10-year-olds and 7-year-olds, right? We try our best to make it safe and make it fun for every age level. Okay, we kind of talked a little bit about this. I just want to bring it home. Evaluations are kind of like an hour-long practice where we have evaluating volunteers that watch each child and evaluate their skill level. They only take place for the 8U, 10U, and 12U. They do not take place for 14U because we typically only have, or 16U, because we typically only have enough players for one team in that division. So we don't need to evaluate them and separate them. And for 6U and playground, we just divide them up because at that age, there's really not much to evaluate quite yet. We're more just having fun out there. Why does my child have to attend? Again, without evaluations, we really can't honor our value of balanced teams. And while it isn't a perfect process, it really helps us to do the best that we can to create teams that are as balanced as possible. For those of you who have participated in the past, you might be asking, they were there last year, or they were just playing in the spring. Do I still have to go? Yes. At these age groups, players grow and develop so quickly. They go to one really nice soccer camp and they come back and suddenly their skill level has upped significantly. And so we really want to make sure we're getting an accurate view of their current skill level. So again, please make evaluations a priority. We get a lot of questions around games and practices and what that looks like during the season. And it depends on the age level. So for our playground and 6U division, they have games, in quotes, games every Saturday. Starting at 8:30, we set up their fields with cones, and at 9 a.m. they have their games, and that's for 6U. Playground is more, they go out and they play. They have some gross motor skills that they work on. There isn't an actual game, but for 6U there is, and both of those programs start at 9 o'clock on field 1, right as you drive up, and they're right in front of the snack shack. It's a lot of fun, and that is the only commitment that we really ask for playground and 6U. They don't have practices during the week. They just have a short session on Saturdays. For 8U, they have Saturday games, usually in the mornings, usually around 10 or 11. And we will let you know what we decide based on how many teams we have. And then they usually have one practice per week. Depending on the coach's decision, they could potentially have 2, and also field space. But typically for 8U, it's one practice per week. 10U, they have Saturday games. We do now interlock with teams in Aromas, San Juan Bautista, and Hollister. So you may need to travel a little bit to those games. And I know you're like, 10U and traveling, but it is a lot of fun for them. They love going to new fields, and it gives them a chance to play other teams. A lot of times at that division, we only end up having 2 to 4 teams, and it gets a little boring playing the same teams. So this gives them a chance to see some new players. They typically have 2 practices a week, an hour long. 12U, we do Saturday games. 50% of them travel up to our San Jose area AYSOs, and they typically have 2 practices per week. So there is travel, significantly more travel further distance apart in the 12U division. And then for 14U, it's the same, 2 practices per week and about 50% travel to away games up in the Bay Area. Okay, so now for the fun stuff. If you're here live, you can go ahead and scan this QR code, and that will allow you to enter into our raffle. You can also get another entry by going on to our social media, Instagram or Facebook, and putting a comment telling us what Prunedale AYSO means to you or Manzanita Park means to you, sharing it and following us, and you get another entry into our contest. But if you also do this code because you're here live, you can go ahead and fill out the form, and we'll add another entry for you as well. So there's that. I will give you a chance to go ahead and scan that. Let's see, what else? I will come back to that, but also if you would like to contact us in any way, you can go to AYSO256 .org, and we have a lot of information on our website. I think we need to update a few things, but you can always email us to confirm any dates or information that is on our website at those 2 email addresses. 256ayso@gmail.com goes to our regional commissioner. He will try to answer you as quickly as possible. And rca@ayso256.org goes to me. Again, my name is Season, and you will likely see me walking around on the field a lot this season. I am always out there, but you are welcome to send me any questions you have, and I will do my best to answer them. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. You can message us there as well. I highly recommend you go on our website and check out our FAQ if you have questions about whether or not your child can play up or down, where the games are played exactly. I don't know. Any other questions you have, we've gotten them most likely, and we've placed them on our FAQ. So please look there first. Go to the website. Look at the FAQ first. If you can't find the answer there, please go back or please contact us, and we'll do our best. Again, we are a small board of volunteers, so we are doing our best to get back to you as soon as we can. Please, again, please apply to volunteer with us. It is so much fun. The kids are amazing. Every Saturday you're out there and you're seeing these kids play, and it's very rewarding. So please fill out our form, and I think that's about it. I don't see any questions or anything in the chat. Feel free to put anything in right now, and I will be happy to answer it. Otherwise, you can email me if I miss anything. If anything gets added in late, I will do my best to reply. But thank you for attending. We will see you out on the field on July 12th for evaluations. Or otherwise, we will see you in your emails. Please keep an eye out for them. And we're so excited as a board to see you out on the field today or this year. All right. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.